Hello, thank you for joining us today. My name is Lucinda Calhoun.
And my name is Airolyn Loggins, and today we're going to talk to you about Bates stamping, also known as Bates numbering, coding, branding, or labeling. This is one of the unique ways to identify and label your legal documents. So whether you're a novice or an expert in Bates stamping, we're going to provide you with a few basic tips and best practices to help you.
The first step to Bates stamping is making sure you arrange your files electronically in the order in which you want them to be Bates stamped. Once you have arranged your files in order, then you're able to begin the Bates stamping process. In the Bates stamping process program, you will notice that you will need to choose a font size. When choosing your font size, you could choose either a 12-point font or a 14-point font.
What's the importance of making that change?
The purpose of changing your font size is 12-point font is pretty much kind of the standard font size that is widely used. However, you can change it from 12 or to 14. The purpose of changing the font is to make sure that the person who is reviewing that document, they see that Bates stamp number at the bottom. And with them seeing that number, and then if you make that number boldface, the point of making it boldface is also to let that person be able to distinguish what is your number and what are numbers that are actually on that document. Yes. So also with Bates stamping, with adding the bold, you can also change the color of your font if you want. Most people just keep it black and not color coded. Me personally, I just leave mine's black. Okay. I don't see the need to change colors, but if there's a specific reason you want to change the color, you can. That option is available. After you have changed your font and your point size, then you can move on to your Bates stamping, the actual numbers. You will notice in the program that you can apply your Bates stamp numbering location to either the top right or left-hand corner or to the bottom right and left-hand corners. Normally, I choose the bottom right-hand corner because it's easier for individuals to be able to read that. Once they're flipping through those pages, they're able to see that number at the bottom and know which page that they need to go to. It's just easy reading. You can put it on the top, that's fine. Most people put it on the top or they'll put it at the bottom. With adding your number at the bottom, you'll also be allowed to change the digits. You'll notice that most of the Bates stamp number programs have 6 digits. Those 6 digits, they can be changed. It doesn't have to be set at 6 digits. You may only be collecting 100 documents and you may not need all of those preceding zeros before your actual number. So therefore you can have your documents set maybe at 3 digits, where if you collect, say, 200 documents, it's just 200 documents, and that's it.
What happens if you have to supplement or you receive additional documents? What can you do to?
If you have to supplement, and that's a great point, actually, because if you have to supplement additional documents, then you want to, if you think your documents are going to exceed over maybe 3 digits, then I would leave it at the 6 digits, because 6 digits is giving you a great big, you're having a great big frame to be able to add on other documents. So I would leave it at the 6 digits because it'll allow you to span. So if you've collected 200 documents and you may need to add on 3,000 documents, then you're going to need those additional digits to help accommodate that. So you definitely don't want to limit yourself by setting the digits less than the amount that you're actually going to collect. So
what about unique identifiers? Do you recommend that as a best practice?
Yes, definitely. Unique identifiers is actually great to have, especially if you are collecting multiple documents that consist of several hundreds or thousands of pages. That is actually great. What you could do, for example, if you have medical documents, you may have collected medical records where you receive 600 medical records. You may have workers' comp documents that you want to be labeled as workers' comp documents. You can label it as WC, then your numbers. Then this set of documents could be your medical documents. You can then label them as MD with the preceding number. Once you add those uniquely identifying characters before the actual number, that helps the person to be able to distinguish if you're referring them to look at a particular base stamp number. It helps them to be able to know which one to look at. You could say, please look at WC 496, or please look at MD 496. They'll know exactly what you're talking about, instead of them having two sets of documents and you're telling them look at 496 and they're like, okay, 496 number what, so you want to make sure that you have a preceding, like a character or some sort before, so it can kind of help identify which one that they're looking at. But if you do make a mistake, however, with base stamp numbering, because it does happen sometimes with base stamp numbering, especially when we're adding on supplemental documents, you may have 500 pages and you may need to add on an additional 500 pages of documents to that particular group. Then say you mislabel and you start off with 502. You got 502 to 1,000. Well, you're like, oops, there's no 501. I forgot to start this at 501. So what do I need to do? Do I need to go through and do I need to redo this all over? No, you don't. Just simply remove. There's a section under the base stamp where it says remove base stamp number. You just simply remove that, and then it'll just remove those base stamp number. Voila, it's gone. And then you can just re-base stamp over again. So, and start from the correct number that you actually missed. So it's that simple. And then once you start your base stamps numbers off, then you can, within the PDF document, you are able, or you have the ability to be able to merge those documents together through the PDF program. So that way it'll be uniform, and you won't have electronically, you won't have base stamp number 501 to 1,000 or base stamp number 1 to 500. You can merge those documents, and it looks like you just base stamped the whole document at one time. You actually did it at separate times. So it's pretty easy. So these are just a few tips to base stamping that should help and assist you. It's much easier this day and time as opposed to past practices where you actually had to hand stamp the documents. So if you made a mistake, you couldn't go back and just change it. You would just kind of start all over again. But this day and time with base stamping under the PDF, it's much easier to be able to base stamp, remove base stamping, change your font. It's much easier now. So again, these are just a few tips for those who are not familiar with base stamping and you want to know more. But we thank you for listening to our chatter about tips on base stamping, and we hope you have a great day.
And happy stamping!